And then we go. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Welcome everybody. My name is Omar Duque. For those of you who haven't yet met me, for those of you who are new to HITEC, I am the president of HITEC. Been with HITEC for now coming on 4.5 years. And it has been just such a tremendously rewarding experience to be able to be part of such an amazing and engaging and transformative community of Hispanic technology professionals and executives. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the first HITEC Live of 2023. I'm so excited that you could join us today. I know we're recording this session, so I do want to recognize those who are going to be watching today's recording. Welcome. We're happy that you're here, whether you're watching live right now or if you'll be watching the recording. And I'm also very excited to be joined for today's session by HITEC board member Marcelo DeSantis, who a little later is going to talk about an exciting new collaboration between HITEC and Thoughtworks called TRANSFORM.ED. I know it's February 1st, and Marcelo was commenting on this earlier about not wanting to wish anybody a happy new year because we might be beyond that point. But I got to tell you, it feels like New Year's Eve for me and for the HITEC team, given all of the newness and all of the excitement. Each year we continue to grow, and grow means a couple of different things. Number one, we continue to grow the community. More and more corporate partners and individual members are joining our work, joining our movement, joining our effort to empower leaders in our community and really to have an impact on the number of diverse technology executives in corporate America. I'm super excited because this helps fund the work that we do to announce that we've welcomed some new corporate partners and also some partners who maybe were members before, left, and have now come back because they want to be part of the community again. Some of those include Discover Financial. Fannie Mae was a longtime partner, is now back. Softtech, same thing. Extreme Networks, Capgemini, and Pyramid Consulting. We're excited to welcome these companies and continue to grow the community. And we truly believe that we're at we've hit that tipping point where it no longer is, have you heard of HITEC? Should you get involved with HITEC? But now the conversations really have evolved into why aren't you involved and why aren't these companies involved in our work at HITEC? And that's really exciting to me. The second way that we're growing is in how we continue to serve our community by expanding capacity in our programming. That includes EEP and Board Ready. Last year, our EEP cohort was 99 fellows. This year, we expect to exceed that number, and that's a good thing because that means that we are bringing more rising executives into the HITEC community, helping them develop in their leadership, and then ideally helping them, grow into new and more senior roles within their companies. Also, our Board Ready program continues to grow, and we continue to offer additional opportunities for companies to engage with us through tailored partner programming options where we come and we deliver content, speakers, training, either virtually or in person at your company's location. So if you're interested in learning more about that, please do reach out. We'd love to have a conversation about how we can bring value into your company, whether it's through your senior executives or your ERGs. I'm excited to announce, and we talked about this at our fall summit, but we have a new leadership team for our board. Longtime board member and previous vice chair Rosa Ramos Kwok has, as of January 1st, assumed the role of chair of the HITEC Board of Directors. It's incredibly exciting. Miriam Hernandez-Cakel, a retired partner with KPMG, is also now the vice chair of our board. Many of you know Daryl Higueros. He remains on the EC as our treasurer, and we're also really, really excited to welcome Jesus Mantas from IBM to our executive committee, and he has assumed the role of board secretary. We did have some board members that rolled off, and I want to take a moment to recognize and thank both JC Gutierrez and our former chairman, Guillermo Diaz, for their years of service and dedication to HITEC. While they have rolled off of our board of directors, both of them remain very engaged and remain very involved in our work. And we look forward to continuing to partner with them to lift up and push forward our mission and our message. We are excited to welcome 2 new board members to the HITEC Board of Directors. Elizabeth Agosto, the Chief Operating Officer and Information Security Division at BNY Mellon. I don't know if Elizabeth is on, but I do know that Eddie Borrero is on. Eddie is the Vice President and Chief Information Security Officer for Blue Cross of California. So please join me in welcoming both Eddie and Elizabeth to our HITEC Board of Directors. Another quick update on some personnel. As many of you know, Viviana Costa, after more than 9 years with HITEC, announced that she would be moving on. And I'm happy to share with you that Susana Ramirez has now assumed the role of HITEC Executive Director. This means that Susana will play more of an operational role, but will still have a high-level oversight of our corporate partnerships and those relationships. So please join me in recognizing and congratulating Susana for assuming this role. Hopefully all of you have seen, we announced some big news yesterday. We launched our new website and a brand refresh. I'm super excited about this. This is something that we have been working on, believe it or not, for about 1.5 years. And it has been a long process because there was a number of different components involved. First, related to data. We partnered with KPMG, an organization within KPMG called Data for Good, where KPMG helped us really kind of bring together all of the disparate areas where we held data and helped consolidate that into, believe it or not, I'm almost ashamed to say this, our first true and functioning CRM. That then turned into another partnership with JPMC's Force for Good team, their pro bono nonprofit team within JPMC, to help us rethink our online presence. And we've been working with the Force for Good team to study how people have used our website, look for ways to streamline and to design something that would be more intuitive, more user-friendly, and at the end of the day, a more robust experience for our members and for our partners. And so hopefully you've had the time to explore the website. For me, this refresh really reflects our growth and the evolution over the past several years, but it also honors our past, while at the same time aligning with the HITEC vision to accelerate the power and impact of Hispanic technology leaders achieving lasting equity from the classroom to the boardroom. So if you haven't yet, I invite all of you to visit the new site, which can be found at the same URL, hitecglobal.org. The site, I hope you agree, features a clean and modern design that makes it easy for users to explore our work, the leaders in our community, which we wanted to make sure we're front and center, and also to collaborate with us and partner with us in building a more inclusive and diverse technology workforce. Another thing I'm really excited about, in the coming weeks, we're going to be launching a new career portal. This is something that we've heard from many of our corporate partners who look to engage with us, particularly in this area. And it became, pretty evident to us that our existing portal was not really serving the needs of our partners and our members. And so we are launching a new portal in the next couple of weeks. And the idea is that it will provide a more comprehensive experience for companies and individuals looking to attract diverse technology talent. This was also in the email yesterday, but very excited to announce that our HITEC Spring Leadership Summit will be hosted by Wells Fargo in San Francisco, and it will be taking place May 9th, 10th, and 11th. So please, please, please save the date. We'll be opening registration in the next coming weeks, and we look forward to seeing you all there. We're also going to be hosting a one-day regional event hosted by Morgan Stanley on Thursday, July 13th. So please be on the lookout for more information about this one-day regional event. All of these changes are because of the feedback that we get from our partners and our members. And so I want to make sure that you know that when we ask for your feedback, when we ask for your input, we're listening. And we take it into consideration. And these are just some of the changes that we're going to be doing this year. We are going to be scaling back from three-day summits per year to 2. So we'll do one in the spring and one in the fall, but we're going to augment some of those summer months with one-day regional events. And so we're hosting the one-day regional event in New York. We're currently in conversation with some other partners to potentially host in some other cities. Cities that we're looking at include Dallas, Austin, potentially South Florida, because we want to create opportunities where the local community can come, engage, and build without necessarily having to travel and make an investment of 3+ days for our summits. We are currently in conversations with some partners about hosting our fall summit, and so as soon as we have the host partner and the date and location, we will share that with all of you. I'm excited to share that we were working with our foundation stakeholders and we're looking to see how we can increase the impact of our work. But that being said, scholarship applications for the HITEC Foundation Scholarship are currently open. Today, we have 147 scholarship applications that have started. And with your help, we look forward to having the largest number of applicants this year. So if you know any graduating high school seniors that are going off to college and are looking to study a technology major or looking to build a career in technology, or existing college students, please encourage them. Please talk to them about HITEC, about the foundation, about the scholarship program, and encourage them to apply. Because we really want to expand the number of students that we can impact with scholarships, with internships, with mentoring, really putting them on that path to building hopefully successful and very long and fruitful careers in technology. Also really exciting, we announced this at our fall summit, the partnership with the Illinois Institute of Technology, or IIT. As part of this partnership, IIT has created a $2 million scholarship fund for members of the HITEC community who are looking to obtain advanced degrees from the STEM-focused Illinois Tech School of Business. Some key details: scholarships are up to $14,000. If they're paired with a HITEC scholarship, that can be more. And this is for students who meet the application requirements. You can enroll to be fully online. You can do it hybrid. You can do it in person. You can do it part-time. You can do it full-time. IIT is willing to be as flexible as they can, understanding that our members in our community are really dispersed across the country. But some of the applicable programs, just so you get a sense: a master's in business administration, a master's in business administration with a focus in business analytics, an MS in environmental management and sustainability, an MS in finance, an MS in management science, marketing analytics, public policy and administration, and also technological entrepreneurship. This is great for the HITEC scholar community, but also for our EEP alumni. And then I would even add, if you have rising stars and leaders within your company that you think would benefit from an opportunity like this, I would absolutely encourage you to talk to them or others within your company to see how we can make this connection. If you have questions, I'm happy to chat. You can email me at hitechglobal.org. You can email Kelly Francis at kelly@hitechglobal.org. That's KELLEY. And we would be more than happy to answer your questions and also connect you directly to people at IIT who are working to attract more people for this program. I think I mentioned our EEP program and our Board Ready program. If you're a corporate partner and you're eligible to submit candidates for either program and you haven't done it, I encourage you to do that as soon as possible. Also, the nomination deadline for HITEC 50 has passed. I know we're currently in the review phase. But if you want to start thinking about potential nominees for this year's HITEC 100, it's never too early to start submitting names for consideration for that. We will once again celebrate the HITEC 50 at our spring leadership summit and the HITEC 100 at our fall leadership summit. And last but not least, really excited to talk to you today about a new initiative that we've launched in collaboration with Thoughtworks entitled TRANSFORM.ED. And here with us today to talk about this collaboration is HITEC board member and Thoughtworks' Chief Digital Officer, Marcelo DeSantis. Marcelo, welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Omar, for having me. And let me start saying that after all the things you have announced, I feel the topic I'm going to share is so small, right? But I want to say thanks to our members, thanks to you, Omar, thanks to your team, thanks to our board members and colleagues, because you are right. I mean, HITEC became a brand, and we should be extremely proud of what we achieved, but also let's take it with responsibility, right? A brand has to be nurtured. It's like a kid, right? It has to be expanded, and we need to stand behind it because we're a community and people have high expectations. That's an extremely nice problem and challenge to solve. So congratulations again. Amazing set of announcements today, Omar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcelo. And I'm going to disagree. The TRANSFORM.ED is actually a pretty big and exciting initiative because it gets at the core of one of our it hits at one of our core values, which is continuous learning, positioning our leaders as thought leaders, and really helping build community among not only our leaders but also global business leaders and decision makers. So with that, Marcelo, why don't you tell us a little bit about TRANSFORM.ED? What inspired the series? What is it and what inspired the series?
Yeah. I mean, when we were thinking about this, we were working with you guys and some people in the Thoughtworks team, and we tried to intersect two things, right? The first thing is us, right? I mean, just look around this virtual table, and we have such a great network of technology leaders that have and are, leading the largest probably transformations in the industry. So we have all this knowledge, experience, which opens up the opportunity, as you said, Omar, to share, right? And on the other side, on the Thoughtworks side, we have as an organization, it's part of our DNA, the belief that knowledge should be shared openly, right? And innovation is always better when you can co-create that innovation, taking different points of view, right? So that's, principles that we have as part of our roots in open source, in agile practices. So we put the two things together, basically, simply that. And we built this platform called HITEC, called Transform.ED, in where we can bring our leaders to share their personal stories on how they are leading the transformation for their organizations, for their industries. In practice, these are 45-minute pre-recorded conversations. They're pretty much as a fireside chat, in where, in many cases, we make sure that the person to be interviewed can actually tell her or his story in a way that they find, it's passionate and genuine, and bring those stories to our community, to the industry, having a say on how transformation should be led. And this is not only about technology expertise. It was extremely refreshing to see, as I was interviewing our colleagues. We have done like 9 or 10 of them already at this point. That they also share the leadership aspects of a transformation, right? And that's where you can see the purpose coming to life, how they actually manage change, how they sustain change in their organizations, how they go through moments of, celebration and moments of struggle, right? And they come back stronger. So, I mean, I really, really encourage you as the series is being shared with the rest of the community and with the rest of the industry. Just take a look to those conversations. Some of them are pretty long, right? But don't get discouraged by the length, but the quality of the thoughts from our colleagues are pretty deep. So that's what it is. That's where it came from. Have to also say that there was a little bit of an experiment at the beginning, and now that we have done a few of them, we're getting much better on how to do them and what's next also, right? We're also thinking about what's next.
So that's really exciting, Marcelo, and I've had the opportunity to watch some of the initial recordings, and I can tell you that even though some of them, to your point, they're not short, but the content and the insight that you get from them, and just the richness of the conversation, I found to be really, really impressive and really impactful. So thank you for sharing that. So can you tell us, where are we now? And how and when can people begin to access this? I think I'm getting some feedback, so I'm gonna.
Yeah. So well, first, very excited to share that we will launch the series pretty soon in our HITEC website. There is a little bit of a preview in the Thoughtworks website. We didn't want to do a lot of marketing on that because we want to have more interviews and show a little bit more of diversity, to be totally honest with you. But so far we have done like 9 interviews. It was a mix of colleagues that are part of HITEC or other executives coming from other industries, from outside HITEC. But in common they have that they really showcase an interest and ambassadorship in diversity and inclusion. So you will see that common thread across all the interviews. Just to for you to have an idea, we have companies as CIOs, CTOs, chief digital officers, chief transformation officers from companies like Heineken, Carbon Maintenance, M5 Alliance, Bata, J&J, the White House, Carlsberg, and there are a few more coming. Home Depot is coming, Lamborghini, for those that like cars like me. That would be a fun interview to watch and learn what the automotive industry is doing with digital and things like that. So it's incredible. Also, when we connect with all these executives and we tell them, this is just for you to tell your story. This is for you to kind of share with others what are the do's and don'ts. The answer is always yes, right? And in big companies, you need to go through the process of the marketing teams and the public relations teams. And since this is about sharing, it has opened doors that before sometimes those doors are difficult to open. So I'm extremely excited what we're going to see, and I'm extremely excited about the potential that the series have going forward. I think this is just it's a starting point, Omar. I think we can do something. I think.
Yeah, I'm curious, Marcelo, based on what since you've been doing these conversations already, you've been doing the interviews, and so much about this is about what our members can learn from watching it. I'm curious to hear from you what you've learned.
Well, I mean, I have to be honest here, selfishly. I learn a lot, right? I'm enjoying doing the interviews. Some days I think I should have been a journalist, maybe and make more money than doing what I do today. But that aside, joke aside, I think, as I said before, first the potential and power of creating this space for our community and technology leaders is really monumental, right? I mean, so much that we can actually do with the content and the advice that they're providing. So that's number one. Second, as I said before, I didn't only learn about technology expertise and techniques, and how we use technology in different industries. But as I said before, what I'm learning, really learning, is how each of these leaders are actually leading from the human aspect of leadership, how they are actually progressing those transformations, bringing their organizations together, bringing teams across the company and across the industry together to not only deliver business results, but also to make sure that technology is being used responsibly, that technology is not only bringing profits to the organization, but also contributing to a better planet. You will hear many of them talking about ESG goals. You will hear many of them talking about clean tech. You will hear many of them talking about how they are using algorithms responsibly. So that was amazing for me to see that we can support our organizations to be profitable, but also we are recognizing that we as technology leaders we have additional responsibilities. And last, I mean, I actually ask always a question at the end, what is your personal words of wisdom? And that's where you see coming the personality of each of these leaders, right? And also the purpose that drives them to do what they want to do, right? And that's it's extremely inspirational, and and some of them you can see they get emotional about it, right? Because they really believe what they're doing, right? Above and beyond the job description that they have in their organizations, they play a transformational role that is huge, right? And in many times, if not most of the times, they are actually impacting society in general. So those are the things I learned. I mean, I am looking forward to do more and learn more and become a better leader myself.
Well, first of all, thank you for that. Let me share with you that I promise you and I guarantee you that if you were a journalist, you would not be compensated anywhere near the level that I'm sure you're compensated at today, and that's without knowing what that looks like for you. I'm curious. I love the personal the personal aspect, the belief in what these leaders are working on, the focus on different things. I think that's really inspiring. But I guess my question would be, what are these leaders most concerned about? Thinking about their businesses and or the future even.
Mhm. It's a good question because the concerns have changed. Remember, we started these conversations, I think it was September, October, and we have been doing them a little bit before holidays, and we're doing them now. And as you know, in the last 6 months, things changed 2 or 3 times, right? From the unfortunate war in Ukraine to seeing the world getting into a recession in many industries, and still have team in China myself, and they are dealing with some COVID restrictions, and the supply chain impacts is still coming from COVID. So you see usual suspects coming in each of these conversations. I mean, one of them is typically the proliferation of data, how they actually use data to make different business decisions in their organizations. How do they take advantage of new technologies and do things differently? Things like AI, ML, I think it comes in every single conversation. It also comes consistently, and you will see that in most of the cases, they are concerned about how to manage change in their organizations. And above and beyond adopting these new technologies is how do they make those technologies to stay and to build value, right? And realize that value for the organizations. That's another topic which links also to the contextual challenges that we're living. As I said before, you will hear from the CIO from Carlsberg. She has a team in Ukraine, and she's telling the story on how she had to leave the team that was basically working from home in the middle of the war, right? So when you see things like that, right, you think about technology, you think about leadership, how these companies are going through different challenges and different contexts is extremely insightful. How do you really do technology investments in times of recession? You know, you will hear very clearly how they are adapting their portfolios, still innovating, but maybe innovating at the core of how do they make their companies more effective, more efficient, reduce costs, right? The times to show results in technology initiatives is becoming shorter because you want to preserve cash, obviously, and make sure that whatever you do brings return on investment as soon as possible. I would say also there has been in the last interviews a lot of talk about what's happening in the technology industry, about all these, people being laid off, and how do we make sure that we take care of the talent we have, we retain our talent, we create spaces for them to flourish, to feel, so to speak, embrace and feel engaged with the organization. So, all those things are happening, and these are the big concerns that they have, right? But as I said before, Omar, the concerns change because the context is changing almost every other month, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait for us to launch this for consumption of the full HITEC community, and because I think that there's so many interesting learnings, including that, right, that it's changing so quickly, and so I think we probably need to be a little better about getting this up and creating that, taking advantage of that timeliness for people to be able to listen and digest and potentially, take some of those learnings into their own work. And so it almost feels a little premature to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. What do you think the future holds for Transform? How do you see this series and work evolving?
I think, Omar, the potential is huge, as I said before, right? We were discussing how to curate all this content because, as you said, sometimes videos are great, but sitting there watching for 45 minutes might not be the you know the, the the choice of everyone. So, and as I said before, this series started as, let's do this, let's get the content, let's get these leaders to talk to us, and let's see where it goes, right? So, what's coming next? Well, there are many ideas we have, right? I think this is a platform. I mean, as much as I'm part of Thoughtworks and HITEC, I think it should be something that belongs to HITEC, and many other sponsors could actually jump in for the next generation of the platform. That's number one. It's part of the idea of this being an open source inspired initiative. We thought about a white paper with the key insights showcasing these leaders and their thoughts. We thought about redefining the topic or the theme of the series each quarter to talk about things that are relevant, right? So that will push us to, the time to market of the interviews to be faster. We're thinking about, doing a series of cloud and modernization, another one around AI and data, Industry 4.0, leadership and innovation, right? In times of disruption or in times of recession. So things like that, right? Specific topics. So I think the possibilities are endless. How do we make this a long-lived knowledge sharing platform versus one initiative, right? So stay tuned. The possibilities are many, and I'm sure we're going to find many things to do going forward with Transform.ED.
Yeah, I I I love it. And I think, just knowing some of the leaders that you've interviewed already is really great. But I think there's also an opportunity to highlight some of our leaders, right? And some of the thought leadership that exists within the HITEC community. And so how can people who are interested in participating, how can they be a part of this work?
Mhm. Well, it's super simple. Let me tell you, Luis. You just send us an email, send it to Susana, right, in HITEC. And then, our marketing teams between HITEC and Thoughtworks will take care of the rest. You will receive a welcome package, right? And it don't take too much time from your agenda, just a small technical test and then the interview, right? Which is typically 1 hour, but we might use 45 minutes of your time. um, Something that you need to know. We do the interview, you review the content, you can edit the content, review that with your marketing teams, cut and paste whatever you want. The person that is being interviewed can actually, decide what questions wants to uh, answer or not. And always I ask many questions that are not in the plan, because I get super inspired by what they say, and sometimes uh, my curiosity drives me in asking different questions, and so far has been great, right? So if you have an interest, hope you have. I do know, I'm just looking at the 4 pages of attendees today. I can see many great stories that we can share with the community. Let us know. Happy to do a session with any of you. It will be a pleasure and a privilege.
And as you talk about some of the questions that that you ask, I guess I'm moved and interested to ask our audience today if they have any questions of you, of the series, of me, of HITEC. Now would be a great time to maybe open it up for questions. If that's okay with you, Marcelo.
I'm totally okay. Yes. Don't be shy. I mean, this audience is not shy.
I have.
I should say that.
Hi, Marcelo. When do you think the content might be available, and where will it be made available?
Mhm. So I will ask for some help to Omar and Susana on the right date, but it will be available in the HITEC website and in the Thoughtworks website. In the Thoughtworks website today, we have 3 of the interviews. The reason we didn't do marketing, and I said before, I wanted to be very honest, is because we didn't have the right mix of female and male leaders, right? And it looks very not high tech, the ones that we have finished, right? So we said, let's put them there. And whenever we have more, now we have a really, really diverse set of leaders, not only from the gender perspective, but also from the experience perspective. I think now we're in the right moment to do the big reveal, right? But Omar will tell you exactly the date, I think.
So one of the things that we were waiting on is launching the new site, because we didn't want to launch this on the old site. And now with the new site up, we can work with your team to get this up, I would say, as early as next week if we're all ready.
Excellent. So it's coming very soon.
Ivana
Marcelo,
has her hand raised.
I was able to find the content and ThoughtWorks pretty easy.
Ivana Estrada has her hand raised.
Thank you so much, Omar. So yeah, this is fantastic effort. I think it's going to bring so many folks in our community, and to your point, add that value. At the same time, I do see that because this content is open and you have a diverse set of talent, right, coming from different industries and organizations, that some content needs to be reviewed, and maybe, as much how candid can people be? Sometimes they might have to be removed for compliance reasons. So given that is the situation, what are, from your perspective, say the highlights and the lowlights of this platform, taking that into consideration so that we can add value, yet we also have to be conscious of not to say so much in a way that could be, could have compliance implications.
Yeah. So I give you my perspective. I mean, one of the reasons we did pre-recorded was, to make sure that the people that is interviewed can look at the content before it's published, right? The marketing teams, the PR teams, in some cases, to your point, Ivana, the compliance teams in some organizations wants to look at, what that executive has shared or not. So there is some check before. So far, we haven't had too many edits to the videos, and specifically when we are talking about public services, public organizations, like government or non-profit organizations. Obviously, the person that is being interviewed is knows how to answer the questions, right? And they do it very well. Many of us in our companies were PR trained, right? So we know how to answer, what not to answer. So I think we are well covered. I don't see any large risk. But back to Omar, he might have a different point of view.
No, I don't. I think that's very well said. Robert Diaz has his hand up.
Hi, Marcelo. One question I have is, are these videos equipped with, captions or translations, or somehow managing to have the videos in English but captioned in Spanish or Portuguese or something for other members of our community? That's one question. And the second question is, I was already thinking, okay, how can I share this with my network in LinkedIn or another network, if there is any guidelines that HITEC has when it comes to how can we share these things, any limitation or any preference, so we do the right thing.
So I'll answer your second question, and then I'll let Marcelo answer the first one. So, when we were building this, we thought about, do we want to put this behind a paywall? Do we want it just for HITEC members? And, Marcelo talked a lot about, just the idea of sharing, right? And we thought it was important to be able to share these conversations. They will live on the HITEC website. They will feature, obviously, Marcelo, Thoughtworks, many of our leaders and other CIOs, and other digital leaders. But the point is to make this available to anybody who's interested in these topics, because I think there's a lot to learn. I think there's a lot to really take from these conversations where people can apply in their own experiences and in their own work. And I think, for us, it's an opportunity to showcase who we are as an organization, to showcase the level of thought leaders that we have within the community, that we have access to, and to showcase the role that Hispanic executives and professionals are playing in transformations across global companies, and just to highlight that work.
Thank you, Omar.
And on your first question, I was taking notes here, Robert, because it's a great ad. I don't think we have added some captions. I need to check with the Thoughtworks team, because we typically add captions to every single virtual interaction in our organization, just to make sure that everyone can actually follow. But let me check on that. I don't think we have done translations to different languages. That's almost 99.99% sure. Right?
Yeah, no, thank you, Marcelo. I think the caption works. I mean, we're working in global teams, and if we see something that is worth to share, and let's invite the folks in Portugal or in Brazil, or Latin America in general. Even if it is in English, they can get the content through the captions, and that broaden our scope.
Reach.
Yeah, totally agree with that, Robert. That's a great point. As we have community members throughout Latin America, in Spain and Portugal, who I think would find a lot of value in this, and doing something as simple as translating captions for them, I think could be really, really valuable. So we'll look into what it would take to do that.
Awesome, thanks.
Other questions? I see that Rosa joined us. Good to see you, Rosa.
I am on. Yes, I had a conflict for the first half hour, but I wanted to see everybody.
We were talking about you earlier.
Oh my gosh, and support.
Congratulating you on becoming the new chair of HITEC.
Yay! I was gonna ask everyone to take a look at the new site. We're talking about transformation and innovation. You know, that great collaboration that we had with a number of partner firms, KPMG, JP Morgan Chase, to get that out. So if you haven't had a chance, take a look.
Any additional questions? Roy, I haven't been monitoring the chat, but have we had any questions in the chat?
We don't have any questions yet. Just a lot of congratulations and good to see everyone.
Great. Marcelo, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Well, no, I mean, thanks for the opportunity being here today and, share the news about TRANSFORM.ED. Please do reach out if you want to be part of the series. I mean, again, I'm going to say that I'm looking across this virtual table and there are many people with great stories. You want to be there, right? Don't be shy. We want to learn from you. You have so much to contribute.
We do have a question from Wander.
Hey, Omar. My question might be a little bit off topic, but I thought I'd ask, and happy to have side chats with you. Just curious if we're tracking, with the current economic downturn that's happening around the tech industry specifically, how is our community being impacted? Yeah. And I know, probably Marcelo, you might be already thinking of this or having conversations through your Thoughtworks and series. So curious what are we doing around that to have those conversations and again being intentional around those and tracking those.
Yeah, that's a really great question, Wander, and it's something that we've been thinking a lot about within the HITEC team. We don't have a complete way to track our members, how our members are being affected, or even yet how the Hispanic community is being affected. I think, at some point as time goes on, we'll be able to get some retrospective data on that. As it relates to our members, obviously, we want to be a resource. We want to be helpful to people who, might have been, laid off or part of, the reduction in forces that are happening. We want to be a resource. So I know that we've scheduled, this is anecdotal, scheduled a couple calls with people to see how we might be able to help them. We've started to have conversations to host a future HITEC Live, and I think we're looking at possibly either late March or early April, I forget the exact date, where we host a session similar to this, where we're able to bring in maybe some executive recruiters and have it be targeted for people who find themselves in situations like that to help. But we are an incredible network of diverse companies. And I think it's been our experience that as some industries do implement layoffs and reductions in force, other industries are looking to continue to attract and pick up talent. And so in many cases, we've seen sort of people being laid off, yet being picked up in another industry. And I hope that continues. I think that despite what we're seeing with some of these layoffs in some very big traditional tech companies, I do think that there is still a need for talent in a lot of different sectors, and there's a big need for tech talent. I think I read a statistic a couple weeks ago that either 2 or 3 out of 10 tech workers who are laid off typically find another job in the tech space within I think 6 to 8 weeks. And so that's encouraging. I mean, these skills are important and this experience is important, but I do think that we can and should play a more deliberate role in helping folks from the HITEC community.
No,
It
thanks.
sounds like a great session, Omar, and Wanda, a great question as well. This is, I think, the power of this community, that we're always thinking about each other and what we could do to help help our community. And look, I think that anyone who, obviously it's unfortunate if anyone, if anyone's in that situation. I will say though, those companies that are looking for tech talent are looking for exactly the talent that is that's being let go, right? Because they have the skills, they have all of these things. So, very marketable, right?
I want to take note of RD, who was volunteering to be a part of that session. I think, Roy, can you make a note of RD and the contact there so that we can reach out and follow up for that.
Of course.
And Omar, if I may offer something, from as we did it during COVID, I will be happy to help any colleague that has been displaced and do some coaching sessions, obviously, as a contribution to our community. So make sure that I let you know how to schedule the sessions, but happy to help.
Phenomenal, thank you.
And so,
Hi,
I'm
Omar.
sorry, I didn't notice that before this call, but he said, we can still catch up.
Mucho gusto, everyone. Before we get going, I wanted to mention that I am also in the IT consulting staffing industry. I would love to help and host and help with resume preparedness and interview practice. So I am ready and available. This is my first meeting, and I'm just so excited to be here and seeing all these wonderful faces. Mucho gusto.
Thank you, Lorena.
Welcome and thank you.
Yep.
Great. Well, I know we're coming up on the hour here. Once again, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing all of you at future HITEC Lives. Please do, as Rosa said, explore the new website. Let us know what you think. And we look forward to seeing you all in San Francisco for our Spring Leadership Summit hosted by Wells Fargo, May 9th, 10th, and 11th. Marcelo, thank you so much for joining us. Can't wait to get this live on our website. See you guys all really, really soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Mucho gusto. Bye.
Bye.
A todos.